Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Daryl Simmons, Fat Ninja DM, with another video. Of course, here, as the title implies, setting up your story in Fantasy Grounds, I'm going to go over a very bare bones explanation on how to set up your story entries in Fantasy Grounds. I put up an interest post about 3 days ago, I believe, and only had a couple of people showing the interest. One of them being Joshua Kirk. So make sure you go over to his YouTube channel and check him out. But still a win-win for me, so I get to talk about Fantasy Grounds and XSplit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're in Fantasy Grounds, and as you can see, I got a story tab set up. You just go over to the story tab, left click on it, and it will bring up the story tab and any entries you have in it. Of course, you can start with a new one. We'll excuse the fan on the on my laptop here. It sounds like a fucking jet engine. I do apologize for that. Um, so in your story tab, the main caveat is you have to have everything numbered, as you see here in the entries. Because if you don't have your stuff numbered, it will not stay in the order that you are entering them in. And what I mean by that, maybe you want the beginning of your story entry, it starts with a B. Then the second entry starts with an A. If you don't have them numbered, it will be alphabetized, so your second entry and the first entry will be totally reversed because A will be at the top and B will be in the second spot. So you have to have numbers, as you see in the entries. Now, going into making up your own, you want to right click, and you'll see this called Create Item. Left click that, and of course you'll get a new entry to start filling in. Left click on that, and now you just have a new story. You name it whatever you want. Um, let's just put in uh, PCs. Let's see. Yeah. Let's just keep it simple. PCs come into town. All right. Now, it automatically puts it in a heading for you, so you don't have to worry about that. Now you click down below to start putting in your text. Of course, you can type it out, but of course, you can copy and paste from a PDF. The thing with copying and pasting PDFs is if you do that, unfortunately, it will not remove the line breaks. So you'll either have to manually remove them after you, um, excuse me, you put the text into Fantasy Grounds, or you'll have to have a text fixer run it through that, and then copy, recopy, and paste it into Fantasy Grounds to make sure those line breaks are removed. So, unfortunately, that's an extra step. But if you want it to look decent, now, hey, if you don't care about it, you don't have to do that. But I I do that type of stuff. So, all right, just throw the same text in there again. Now, there are several options you can use when you're putting in text in the Fantasy Grounds. And one of them, you just left click drag to highlight the text that you want to edit. And right click on it, and you'll have this radial menu. One, close window, minimize, paragraph types, formatting, and then share sheet. We're going to be focusing on the paragraph types. So you'll left click on that, and then you'll get more options: chat frame, body text, heading, list, link, and table. All right, we're going to start with chat frame first. So with the text highlighted, you just left click chat frame. and of course, it puts it into a chat frame. Now, if you have people connected to you or you're screen sharing over Google Hangouts and you're sharing your screen, you can left click on the chat bubble and it pushes it out to the chat window so everybody can see it. And it doesn't matter how long setup of text you have, it will push it all out to the PCs. And of course, it looks kind of boring. Just simply says the PCs come into town. But now, if you do this, re-highlight it again, right click, paragraph types, you'll see another option that comes up now, assign speaker. Now what that is, you can actually name the NPC that the text will be pushed out. It will actually have somebody's name attached to it. So like if you have you want the text to be pushed out as the lore master or narrator or what have you, you put that name in there. When it gets pushed out to the chat window, it will have that said name, narrator, lore spinner, what have you. All right, now that's still highlighted. Right click, paragraph types, and then now we go to body text. Basically, body text is just your regular amount of text. Anything that was applied to that text will automatically be taken away and will be put back to just regular body text. All right, highlight again, right click, paragraph types, and now we'll go to heading. So basically it does what it does up top, changes it to a heading. If you want to change it back, of course, highlight, right click, paragraph types, body text, and it puts it back to normal. Okay, same thing, highlight, paragraph types, and now we'll go to list. Now say that you have some bullet points that you want to make sure you see in your long line of text. Basically, you would do this. Basically make bullet points. So highlight the text you want to have as a bullet point, and then go to list, left click, and now it'll push the text in, and then also put a dot by it, so it lets you know, okay, this is something I need to pay attention to. All right. So going on to the next thing is a link. Now, in Fantasy Grounds, you can link all sorts of things, treasures, specific items, or what have you. Say that the PCs are about to take a quest and they need a specific trinket to open up like a magically sealed door, say for instance. So you would have that link in your story entry, so you don't have to go around clicking a whole bunch of tabs and everything to find it and then drag it to the person you want to give it to. It's already in your story entry. So you would just simply click, drag that link from the story entry. And if players are connected to you on Fantasy Grounds, you can actually drag and drop that trinket to a specific character. And I mean, if you don't have people working in Fantasy Grounds with you on that, that's fine. You can just simply say, hey, such and such that's playing on with Google Hangouts or whatever. You can just say, hey, look, such and such is grabbing the trinket. And then you just put a note to yourself saying, okay, such and such has a trinket, because if you look into the people's inventories on Fantasy Grounds, of course, you won't see the trinket. So you got to make a little note to let yourself know that you've given a trinket to a person that's not connected to you on Fantasy Grounds. All right. Highlight your text again, and we'll go to the next one and final one, which is tables. Now, in Fantasy Grounds, of course, you can make all kind of tables. You can have random encounters, NPC names, whatever you want the table to do or will have. And you can put that directly into your story entry. So once again, you don't have to go, because normally to get to a table, you'd have to go up here in the upper left-hand side, well, right-hand side, excuse me, and look for the tables tab, which is the second tab right here. And of course, if you hover over it, it'll give you a tooltip. So you would have to click it and then find your table and then click it. No, you just have it right here in your story entry, and then you can just roll, whatever dice setup you have, whether it's a D20, a D8, what have you, and you just roll off your table if you want it random or what have you, and then boom, you have that trinket picked or item, other set item, and then give it to your players that way. All right, now you got that done. Now we're going to go over to formatting. Once again, you highlight your text, right click, and now you go over to formatting, left click, and you got bold, italics, and underline. Of course, bold will make it the font, stick out more. Of course, they're also explanatory. Italics, it'll put it into italic setup, and underline, it will have the text that you have highlighted. It will have an underline under all the text that you have highlighted. So you have that all set up, and now you have your entry set up. So now the very last thing you have to do, see the padlock over here, it's unlocked. If you are, for somehow, shape, form, or fashion, unsure of it, you just hover over it, it'll give you a tooltip. It's unlocked. Left click to lock it down so you don't accidentally highlight something and erase it or whatever once you're done with it. So yeah, that is a very bare bones explanation how you set up your story entries in Fantasy Grounds. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the outro screen and then get the hell out of here. Alright, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Of course, above my big fat ass head, YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Fat Ninja DM. I rebranded it. Yeah, I really put a lot of effort into that one too, but I just wanted to keep it simple, and plus I'm fucking lazy. Facebook, of course, RPG Realm Changers. That's the page I run. Once again, thank you, Nelson, for... I keep getting this mixed up. Okay, yeah, that right there. That awesome logo right there, yeah. Nelson, Infinite Roleplay. You need some work done for a decent ass price, get at him. Motherfucker is phenomenal. Yeah, Fantasy Grounds can facilitate what you need, whether it's 5e, Shadowrun, Call of Cthulhu, Savage Worlds, any generic thing that you can come up with. They have a rule set for that also. Yeah, it's just a great system, and I know there's other ones out there, Roll20 and the other ones that are out there. I just prefer Fantasy Grounds. Big ups to Doug Davison and his crew over there at Smiteworks. They're constantly pushing out updates, making the product better. So yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for watching, and when you least expected it, I just stole your critical hit. Later, folks.